For the past few weeks of the Integrity Ignite series, we've been doing things different. Apart from Daytona, we've taken it to the twists and turns of upstate New York at the Watkins Glen International Circuit, and then we went to the land far away on the other side of the pond, the Twin Ring Motegi in Japan. Tonight, however, we'll take it to the roots of stock car racing itself, back to North Carolina for the North Wilkesboro Speedway. Race 4 the 2023 B season gonna get on its way very soon, as the Throwback 150 is currently under qualifying. 8 minutes left on the board to put hot laps down, and qualifying gonna lead to our 150 lap main feature with over 30 drivers registered as we speak. Great to be back again on FTN. It's an action-packed night on the channel, 3 broadcasts at once, and this might be the quickest of which. Very close, very quick racing. We're sure to see exciting moments all throughout the pack. You're never out of the action here at a short track like North Wilkesboro, so I'm sure every lap will give us something special until the very end. Tyler Guth and Fisher Studios in chat, great to have you both here. Chris Cabot going to be on the track right now, Brian McFerrin as well. It looks like 26 drivers have taken times. Defending winner Anthony DeBarro has not, and Jonathan Giervon now gets on the track with the Pepsi number 33. Great to be back here after a very eventful day in the iRacing community. As always, I'm your host for tonight's broadcast, David Kreutz. Awesome to be alongside you all, and we have our paint schemes back. Many of those invested in the iRacing community may know trading paints currently undergoing difficulties. We at FTN worked through that, and we will have every paint scheme represented accurately for tonight's main event. That will not be a worry. Just glad to be back here at the virtual track. 6 minutes and 51 seconds remain. Blake Gordon's got the top spot by 25 one-thousandths of a second, and that is almost a given. If you watched the All-Star race just a few months ago, it was Blake Gordon dominating for almost the entirety of the event until Seth Wells stole the victory in the last 25 laps. Tonight, Seth is not racing. Blake Gordon is the odds-on favorite, and it looks like as time continues to run out here in qualifying, nobody will have a chance to go against the top time set by the 13. It still is at the highest spot on the leaderboard. Jonathan Giervon goes up into 23rd. Trevor Trago is going to park it on the track. It looks like he is done. 30 drivers have taken a time, and 32 have gone on the track. The only driver who has not set foot on the circuit is Christopher Matthews here in qualifying. It looks like Giervon going to take it down to pit road, and that means qualifying already all but complete. Nobody taking practice laps. Trevor Trago, the only driver who still appears to be on the track, and it looks like that means the starting grid has effectively been set already. Drivers are getting set to get into the car for the starting grid, and before the formation lap comes into play, let's get a head start and find out who's who on the lineup here in the Throwback 150. And as we load up your starting grid for tonight's event, it's been 2 races since we've had a caution flag in the Ignite series. Caution-free 40 laps at Watkins Glen, then caution-free for 100 laps, and that was at the Twin Ring Motegi. Now we come in with still as much momentum as ever. Could we see 3 caution-free races in a row? That would be a record here in the Ignite series if possible. We still have a ways to go until we find out whether or not that can be done. With all that said though, over 30 drivers have already taken times. Another big turnout for this race on Monday night, and every driver looking to give it their all to win at NASCAR's most historic track. This is the Throwback 150, and without further ado, let's take a look at your starting grid for tonight's event here in the North Wilkesboro Speedway. Top times have already been taken, and the number 13 of Blake Gordon, where he announced his number change, he's back again at the top of the board. 19.085 puts Blake Gordon just ahead of Rob Ackley. Ackley looking very quick at Watkins Glen, looking to bring together another solid podium performance, starting with a 19.110. Second on the first row. Justin Morton going to be qualifying in third, right beside Michael Stroll, and Michael Stroll only 4 one-thousandths of ahead, and it's going to be an advantage, barely ahead of Sean Carmody. Sean going to qualify inside the 5th position with a 19.1 19.37. Anthony DeBarro, defending winner on a hot streak of sorts, going to be 6th with a 19.14. Cody Smith, 7th spot on the order. Number 18 machine there with a 19.156. Right ahead of Chad Cole's 19.162. Timothy Johnston would be scored in 9th with a 19.179. And 0.04 of a second adrift, it's DJ Stagner with a 19.183. Then from there, Chad Mike is going to be 11th with a 19.185. Matthew Thunnell is going to be 12th with a 19.189. He's in 12th, while Travis McQuistion finds himself in 13th, making it a baker's dozen right ahead of Jacob Fife, who will be qualified in 14th. Don Stevenson puts himself in the 15th spot with a 19.257. Then from there, Tyler Hensley will find himself 0.03 of a second behind Don to round out the 8th row on the outside line. Casey Shue is going to be 17th, and it'll be Forrest Smith in 18th, with Alan Dobbs position number 19 and Gael Brooks 20th with a 19.362. Going from there, you'll see Thomas Bressie is going to be in 21st with Brandon Bernhardt, then 22nd. Jonathan Gearbo would be position number 23 with Boomer Logan, then scored in 24th. Alec Daffin will find himself 25th with Chris Cabot 26th, and Cal Fularski scored 27th with Brian McFerrin 28th. 19th is Kyle Cooper, 30th is the debut driver Andrew Schaub, and in 31st is Trevor Trago with a 4-minute time alongside Shane Ewing in 32nd and Christopher Matthews to round out the field in the Throwback 150. That's your starting grid from Wilkes County. And Trevor Trago is still taking his second lap here. His first lap took 4 minutes, as you saw on the timing sheet, so not quite sure what the plan is here for Trevor, going back and forth around the track as we speak, almost at the line, but choosing not to go any further. Either way, Trevor is not going to be the dead last driver on the board, putting together a lap time just ahead of 2 drivers. So it's better to not start last, even if it's a 4-minute qualifying time at this short track. And with a little more time just before the race, why not we take a look at our FTN race rundown and our FTN track information at the same time. First off, your race rundown for those 150 lap showdown, 93 miles and just about 150 kilometers. No faster pairs or automatic repairs throughout all of the racing, and no stage break either. If you end up damaged, you'll have to come down to pit road, either using, of course, the tow feature or driving it down by yourself. You'll have to stay there until all the damage that's required is repaired. NASCAR Xfinity Series machines will be used tonight. Of course, it's going to be the Camaro, the Supra, and the Ford Mustang. And alongside that, the information on the bottom of your screen will show you this is our first short track race of the season. Shortest distance by a landslide. Last week was the shortest distance, but it was 1.5 miles in Japan, as opposed to Watkins Glen and Daytona, both almost being 2.5 miles each. Now also coming in, no caution since Daytona. Maybe that can continue, but with the rough and tumble nature of short track racing, that remains to be seen. In addition, defending winner, Mr. Intermediate as of recent, Anthony DeBarro got it done in a caution-free dominating performance in the Twin Ring Motegi. Can he pull it off again? That's a big thing to keep an eye out for. He looks to be as sharp as ever coming into tonight. In addition, of course, alongside your race rundown, how about we take a look at North Wilkesboro itself? Get to know this iconic track that's been used in NASCAR competition since the late 1940s. 4 turns in Wilkes County. It's a 6/10 of a mile circuit, 0.625 miles to be exact, in just over 1 kilometer, so it really makes itself better in distance in terms of kilometers and comparison to miles. Every turn is different. You've got to drive them all a different way. The aerial shot behind us will show that in even more detail. And the first time this track was open was, of course, in the late 1940s, as we mentioned. 1945, reopened in 2009, 2010, and most recently in 2022, with the help of the iRacing community scanning the track in 2020 to bring the Pro Invitational competition. And alongside that, now, Cup Series, the All-Star Race, held this year at North Wilkesboro, alongside a Truck Series event, the Cars Late Model Tour, and weekly short track racing involving some of the best in real racing, some Cup legends, some drivers from the short track scene who are very good in their own right, and it all comes together to create even more history for this vintage track, well known for its use all throughout stock car racing's history. Now 3 minutes and 57 seconds remain before we get this race week going on FTN. Fisher Studios mentioning this weekend's going to be exciting. The NARS Fisher Studios Cup Series intends to begin competition Saturday night. Keep an eye out for that. We should have more information. Daytona going to be the venue, and alongside that, it's going to be an action-packed weekend as well. We've got the short track showdown on Friday nights, the Saturday night Truck Series, and it's going to be a great feature to keep an eye out for, our very first in the Fisher Studios Cup Series as well. Now taking a look at the timing sheets on the warm-up board, Sean Carmody's the fastest man by 61 thousandths of a second as we take you back to our timing and scoring screen on the top of your viewing screen. There is the number 40 all the way at the highest spot. And Sean Carmody running a rookie season here in the Harley-Davidson number 40. We've seen him since Daytona, did not show up at Watkins Glen, but he's been back ever since and was making some big moves at the track, of course, known as the World Center of Racing, leading some laps, trading the lead back and forth, but now looking to get it done at a track that often requires a different set of skills. It's not about being on the throttle all the time and watching where you are compared to everyone else. You got to understand yourself more than anyone else. The line here at North Wilkesboro matters an awful lot. You can see Rob Ackley got loose and ended up way high on the track. Right now for Carmody, that's not the case. He's very confident in the line he's been running. Slides up the track just a bit more, but he'll be able to drop it right down to the bottom all the same. Go through 3 and 4, lower and lower. Down to the bottom side, Sean Carmody goes. Chad Mike is going to be on the way, and Mike is in his number 25, going to be back on the move in second. Looking for his first career podium here in the Ignite Series, and he's got a lot of speed to begin the night. We'll see whether or not he's got a bit more to finish it off. 150 laps requires a lot more than hot lap speed. It requires at least staying out of the barrier, which Chad doesn't have a lot of luck doing there. Down to the inside of the wall, he'll end up respawning his machinery and go back at it yet again. Chris Cabot's got another special paint scheme as opposed to the Japanese Red Bull inspired throwback he had just a week ago. It looks like this is going to be a different flair on the number 5. Let's get a better angle and try to see what's going on with the number 5, and you can see it's a Menards throwback of sorts. The number 5, of course, with the iconic Menards coloring, and it's a different look for the company trying to save big money. They've got a very consistent driver, Gabot, who was a rookie last season, going for his first full-time campaign and looking to turn some heads. He's currently 4th on the board as we have a minute remaining in second practice. Chad Cole going to be side by side with Brian McFerrin. They're going to be at the line battling each other. Chad Cole is 6th on the board and has been very good as of recent. Had a top 10 run at the Twin Ring Motegi on pace, and it looks like this number 17, no slouch this season. One of the drivers to keep an eye out for a top 5 or even podium run as the season goes on. Might be expecting a bit more out of this Ford Mustang than the season before. Definitely some big improvement in getting to the checkered flag with track position, so keep an eye out for Chad Cole as he battles side by side. Now going to be pushed down into 7th on the order as Alan Dobbs goes highest, and it looks like the 0-5 now the fastest man on the timing sheets. 23 drivers have taken the time going back to Brian McFerrin right now, and McFerrin has only taken 9 laps, and the highest amount for any driver in this stint looks to be a total of 14 for Chad Cole. So right now, 4-car back bundling down to the start-finish line, but the fastest man is down on pit road. Alan Dobbs with a quick time here in second practice, a 19.064, and that will conclude your warm-up for this race. Throwbacks, classic schemes in this league, and new faces alike all clash here at the North Wilkesboro Speedway as we get ready for 150 laps of non-stop action. And as the starting grid begins to form, Blake Gordon already going to be at the head of the field. Rest of the pack going to be coming in as well. You can see some throwbacks like the Exide batteries, number 55. That's Andrew Schaub. New look for him, of course, in his very first start. Kyle Cooper just populated into the grid, but we're waiting now on Alec Daffin and Christopher Matthews. Every other driver already loaded in, and when they're back on the track, we'll be good to go with the iRacing official pace car already at the head of the field. 150 laps and the virtual grandstands are already packed. Some of the best talent in this league has come down to North Carolina, and they're looking to put on a great show. Blake Gordon trying to break the winless streak. Rob Ackley trying to put himself in victory lane for the first time this season. Justin Morton, Michael Stroll, more of the same. Sean Carmody's a rookie looking to turn heads, and Anthony DeBartolo has been hot as of recent, winning at Charlotte last season, winning at the Twin Ring Motegi this season. Can he go for another oval victory? That remains to be seen. We're going to grab a gear for the first time tonight. Let's see what these guys got in store as the Throwback 150 will begin in just one more pace lap. Taking a look at the entirety of the field, every driver, all 33 of those who came into play, will be on the track. Christopher Matthews going to miss the start and start on pit road. Shane Eben going to be the final driver now in formation as the 32 tries to get up with the best of them. The Rayovac Supra is now back with the pack. Cody Smith going to be 7th right now. He is in the heart of the field. But Blake Gordon knows one thing. If you've got track position, it's in your best interest to hold on to it. North Wilkesboro is an unforgiving track, and it will let you know if you messed up. You'll be in the wall, in the grass, or somewhere in between by the time you realize you haven't done it all too right. So the question is, can any driver make it happen for 150 laps? There's sure to be some roadblocks and obstacles along the way, but only one can come home with the victory here in NASCAR's most historic circuit. The iRacing official pace car will come down to pit road, and the Throwback 150 will begin. We're green for the North Wilkesboro Speedway. And as the drivers come by, lap 2 already going to be on its way. Blake Gordon able to grab that lead, and he still has it. No trouble so far throughout the field. Side by side in the heart of the pack, you can see they're going 3 wide just ahead. Thomas Bresci going to be inside the thick of it right now. He's got Alan Dobbs there as well, and it looks like aggression already going to be rocketing high. It's 3 laps in, but there's still a lot of action to be seen. Alan Dobbs still going to be on the back bumper here as we see some checking up. The problem's going to be down to the bottom side, and for the first time since Daytona, we have a caution. It's going to be for the 82 of Timothy Johnston, as it looks like he got involved with a few other drivers. Caution is out. As we look back further, it looks like no word on the 82, and now down to 30 seconds. So we do have a word. Timothy Johnston involved in our first caution of the day. 4 laps in, let's take a quick look back and find out just what happened. You can see Johnston going to be on the grass by the time we come back to the feed, so we'll take it even further back in an instant replay here on FTN and find out what caused the wreck. And it's going to start at the front of the field. Timothy Johnston going to be up there, and it looks like DeBarro's going to slide up to Sean Carmody. Then Cody Smith tags, and Timothy Johnston involved as well. You can see Chad Cole ends up picking it back together after a little time on the grass. DeBarro's there too. Chad Mikas. And the 82 of Johnston gets the worst of it, going backwards there. No major damage, but losing all his track position. Now almost last on the board. Just like that, first caution will fly 5 laps in, and we're back under pacing here in Wilkes County. sending it back to the live feed. Blake Gordon is the man on top of the board, 6 laps in. Not too far behind is Rob Ackley. Michael Stroll is now 3rd, and Sean Carmody makes his way up into 4th after some contact. He was involved in the first yellow, but does not go around spinning, so he's good to keep on competing at the head of the field. No worries for him. Justin Morton is now the man that rounds out the top 5, and DJ Stagner positions himself in 6th. Now multiple drivers making their way through to the top of the field, others fading way back, and just like that, things are changing, and we have not even seen the 10th lap of the night. Only one driver off the lead lap at the moment. That would be Chad Cole. Chad's going to be down to pit road to get some more damage repaired. Definitely some big time damage on the front end, and that's the most important area you want to avoid. However, for Chad, that does not look to be the case. Taking a look at our close-up drone shot, definitely could be some engine damage that prevents Chad from going as quick as he'd like to. Looks like the damage could prevent him from going up throughout the front of the field all race long. This is detrimental already. Some aggression, it's going to be seen, and it's going to cost some drivers the chance to get home with the checkered flag or even come through with a solid run. Christopher Matthews is back on the lead lap, but Chad Cole fades back further. A few other drivers definitely have damage as well, but have opted not to come down and in. As we come through this time by, at the line, it's going to be Blake Gordon leading, and Rob Ackley then in 2nd. The leader, the 13 machine, chooses the high side, and we've got one more lap of pacing before the race gets back on its way. If you got a favorite driver, be sure to shout them out in the chat room below. Almost 30 drivers on the lead lap. As a matter of fact, now there are more than 30 on the lead lap. Many drivers still have the opportunity to make something happen here in North Carolina. Will they do so? That remains to be seen as we come to lap number 10 for our first restart of the day. And as we come down the line, this time through, the winner, of course, decided at the end of this race. The question is, can track position prove to play into the favor of Blake Gordon? He's got the high side, he's got the lead, and he has control of our first restart of the day. Down a pit road, Blake Gordon leads us. It's the first restart of the day. Pace car's in, Blake Gordon's off to a jump start. It's a huge launch for Blake Gordon there. Rest of the field not able to keep up. You can see now Rob Ackley, Cody Smith, side by side, multiple layers deep. It's like pack racing, but at a much slower pace. You're always packed in with someone around you, and while the draft might not mean as much, the impact of those who are right next to you can mean all the difference. You've got to make sure you know where you are as well as the other person in this picture. Side by side racing as treacherous as it can get all throughout the field. You see Alec Daffin now working to the bottom side on Thomas Bresci. Alan Dobbs is going to go for a slide, and that's going to be trouble. Drivers barreling in. It looks like Dobbs gets back on the way. Very nice save for Allen. We expected him to go around in the head of the field. He's now in the rear of it. And just like that, the field gets by without another caution. Great maneuver, but it looks like caution going to come out either way. Chad Mikas at the head of the field. He's now further back and spins yet again. The 25 brings out your second caution of the day. And caution number 2, Chad Mikas is going to be involved, and this one looks to be the only driver who went around. So we'll take a quick look back with an instant replay and find out just what happened here now on lap 14. Mikas getting loose off corner number 4, goes down to the start-finish line, and just not able to recollect it. That's a yellow flag. Not a major incident, thankfully nobody else involved, and no damage collected, but still going to cost Chad more track position and send them further to the back of the field, now finding himself in 32nd, only ahead of Chad Cole. So right now for the Chads, it's not gone well. Both of them going to be 32nd and 33rd respectively, as the second caution is flown 15 laps through. Mike is down on pit road, and Chad Cole is the final driver out on the track. The leader is still Blake Gordon, with Michael Stroll now gaining second. Sean Carmody is going to be third, and Rob Ackley is then going to be in fourth. Top five going to be rounded out now by Justin Morton, and sixth place is held by Cody Smith. So immediately we're seeing some trouble at the head of the field and the rear of the field. Chad Mikus has been on both sides of the coin, and he's found himself in trouble either way. Now, as we get back to it for our second restart, we begin to question, can we get a good green flag run in? At this pace, the way we've been going, this should be, or could be, the longest amount of yellow flag time we've had all season long, in addition to the most cautions in any race this season. Of course, we've seen caution-free for almost half the races so far this season, but now we've already seen multiple in 16 laps. So that begs the question, do we break the 8 caution marker we saw at Daytona, or do we stay under that mark and get more to the longer form racing, with these drivers getting more into a rhythm? That remains to be seen, and the way drivers are going right now, we can't really tell, but already some come down to pit road for more damage repair. Chad Cole is now in the lead lap, Anthony DeBarro is too, but Chad Mikus fades one lap down, opting to wait for the next caution to get back in the picture. And Blake Gordon up ahead yet again, looking now to one lap to green. Blake Gordon, who did oh so well in our All-Star race, which was at North Wilkesboro just a few months ago, he's looking to do it once again and have another dominant performance at this track. Even though these are not the next gens as they were in the All-Star race, the Xfinity cars can definitely drive this track quite similar. It's not all aerodynamic or power dependent. If you've got just enough power to make it by, even minor damage can go through this track with ease. Right now though, Blake Gordon has no damage, and he'd like to keep it that way. We'll see whether or not he can though, as we come now to lap number 19. Blake Gordon up in front. Michael Stroll now down to the bottom side. Caution extended for one more lap. We'll be going green at lap 20 now. And the field regrouping with Chad Cole back down on pit road. They're going to give him one more chance to get back with the leaders. And it looks like now will be one lap to green for good. Blake Gordon up in front. Rob Ackley going to be the driver in third right behind him. He'll have to try to push his outside line through, give them a bit more momentum if they want to make a dive at the lead. Right now, though, the leader, of course, controls everything. Will the lines get stacked up? Will it be a better start for the high side or the low side? That remains to be seen here and now. The iRacing official pace car is down and in for the second restart of the day. We're back to the green here in North Carolina. And still a very solid launch there for Blake Gordon, able to get through ahead of Michael Stroll, but not as big as it was the time before. Michael might have enough pace to chase him down in the long run, but so far these short runs not at all help in the case of the AC Delco number 38. Right now for Stroll, it looks like laying back in second is the best he can do. He has his teammate in Rob Ackley right behind him, so it might be a bit more of a comfortable position to be in, especially with so much competition right behind. Sean Carmody and Justin Morton go at it side by side for a brief moment. Now Carmody works his way down to the bottom, and Justin stays up there on the top. Side by side yet again. Justin's going to be able to work it up top and take that third place back, but not without a fight. Sean tries to take it down low and take the spot immediately back. Nothing comes of it, and it looks like Justin Morton takes third place for now. Now it's going to be side by side with a caution coming out for the third time. Christopher Matthews goes around, and the yellow flag will fly 23 laps in. Christopher Matthews involved in this one, started from pit road and now involved in our third caution of the day. Let's take a quick look back and find out why. And Taking a look at Christopher Matthews here, you can see the number 92 working the bottom side with Chad Mikas, and it looks like Chad, the caution prior, contact with Chris Gabot, and he's sent down to the start-finish line, spinning back and forth. Very similar incident, and it's going to bring out the caution all the same. The caution flies for the third time here in the Throwback 150, this time for Christopher Matthews and the number 92. Back to the live feed yet again. Matthews scored in 32nd. Chad Mikas is in 33rd and looks to have a chance to get back on the lead lap this time around. How about that hit for Christopher Matthews? Brings us back at a standstill, and as the green flag is set to fly in a few laps time, pit road a bit more busy, but most of your leaders opting not to go in. Blake Gordon leads the way 25 laps in out of 150, and just behind him, Michael Stroll there in second. So far been calmer at the head of the field. As we mentioned, up and down throughout the pack we've seen trouble, but now the leaders like Gordon, Stroll, and Ackley have been able to build a bit more of a gap, getting away from those who are a bit more aggressive side by side or even three wide. It's a very good thing, of course, for a driver to get away from the pack at a track like North Wilkesboro, especially if you're actually ahead of them in terms of position. You really want to drive away, get out of that hornet's nest, and try to use the track to the fullest extent. If you can't do that, there might be a bit more trouble as the day goes on, especially with wearing out your equipment a bit more. The tires might be burnt up, you might be using up a bit more of that motor, and it could end up with damage, as we've seen with very quick contact, time after time. And with the pace car's lights still on, taking a look further back at the field, Chad Mikas is now on the lead lap. All 33 drivers are indeed back with the leader. So no driver one lap down, and it looks like all of those still in the field have a chance to compete up in front. Anthony DeBarro from first place last week now finds himself in last. Not the best start for him after qualifying inside the top 10. He has not had the race pace from this point onward. As it stands, going to be 33rd and last, 27 laps in, so the 27 still has a ways to go to recover, but it could happen, especially with the chaos we've seen so far. One lap to green. Once again, going to be DeBarro back of the field with Blake Gordon up ahead. And just a few months ago, both of those drivers in the same position. Very quick, not able to get it done at the checkered flag to win a race, but DeBarro broke that streak. Now the question is, can Blake Gordon do the same thing with one more lap of pacing? That might begin to roam in his mind as a question, of course, thinking about if this is the night. So far, going into the night, he knows one thing. He's quick at North Wilkesboro, proved it before, but anything could happen. We have seen some upset victories before. Dominating performances don't always get completed. So for Blake, just managing the defense off the restart is the most important thing right now. So far, nobody's beat him off the line, but if that happens, we might see a bit more of an intense lead battle as opposed to what's only lasted about a turn or two every time around. Coming down to the stripe, this time by the iRacing official pace car, dives in again, restart number 3, led by Blake Gordon. Blake Gordon definitely gets the best jump of them all there. Not even close for Rob Ackley or Michael Stroll, both of which going to have to play second and third now as they do not get the opportunity to jump on your current race leader. As it stands, it's going to be the number 13 machine of Blake Gordon up at the top. Rob Ackley second, Michael Stroll is third, and Justin Morton is then in fourth. Looking at Sean Carmody and Cody Smith, it's double file for the both of them, but most of the drivers up at the head of the field are now single file Trying to keep it calm up in front might be the best move. And you'll see Tyler Hensley now with Alec Daffin. They're going to try to work that bottom side. Some drivers working it a bit higher. That's now the 213 Simware machine getting in some contact. Hensley up high. Big wreck. It's a track blocker with McQuestion. Boomer Logan. Casey Shue sending Trevor Trago in. And it's a dead stop for half of the field. Hensley comes into pit road. Bernhardt just gets away. And just like that, it's the big one here in North Wilkesboro. DJ Stagner just gets around it. Tyler Hensley back on pit road, but Trevor Trago nearly put one lap down trying to escape that incident. How about that wreck? The biggest one of the day, and we're back under yellow for the fourth consecutive time. And taking it back to our FTN or instant replay here, let's take a quick look at what just happened. You'll see Hensley involved, gets with Forrest Smith, and taking an aerial shot on the matter will show you a bit more. Of course, this is with the number 46 in mind. Taking a look at the driver of that 71, Gael Brooks driving right into it. Forrest Smith gets tagged, Casey Shue and Boomer Logan make contact, and with Brandon Bernhardt's view, you'll see him drive right by the shenanigans. And now Boomer Logan, no front, of course, hood, and there's nothing left of his front end there. Multiple other drivers in a similar situation. Casey Shue going to be backwards with major front end damage. Chris Cabot with some damage too, and it's a standstill at the start finish line as your fourth caution comes out. As we head back to the live feed here on FTN, drivers coming down pit road: Don Stevenson, Boomer Logan, Christopher Matthews, Forrest Smith, Tyler Hensley still there, and the leaders come by this time around with Blake Gordon up ahead, Rob Ackley going to be second, and Michael Stroll then in third. 4 cautions so far, 36 laps in, on pace for what would be a total of 15 yellow flags, which would be the biggest amount of the year, let alone this season. How about that? It's been chaotic so far, but we have still been logging laps quite quickly. A lap here under yellow takes 41 seconds. That is still quicker than the lap at both Daytona and Watkins Glen, and not all too much slower than the lap of the Twin Ring Motegi. So despite the fact we're under caution once more, we're still making time about as quick as any other race this season, all the same. Now it's going to be 1 lap to green. Blake Gordon goes right down low. You'll see up high Rob Ackley. Third's going to be Justin Morton, and fourth, Michael Stroll. Top 5 going to be rounded out now by Cody Smith and Sean Carmody side by side. Looks like Sean will be scored in 5th, and with the leaders going down low, it is going to be the number 40. Now rounding out that top 5. Coming through, 1 extra lap added to make sure that all those on pit road get back with the pack. Last driver on the lead lap now is Christopher Matthews. Don Stevenson, Trevor Trago, and Forrest Smith are all 1 lap down, and Tyler Hensley is a total of 6 laps down. Big time loss for him due to these cautions. And now, as we come across the line yet again, it's going to be 1 lap to go for certain. Gordon down low, Rob Ackley right up high, and as we get back to it again, it'll be lap number 39, led by the 13. The iRacing official pace car dives in for the 4th time today, and the Throwback 150 looking to throw it a bit further in the future, getting a green flag run in. That's the big request. Can these drivers fulfill it? We'll see. Green flag comes out once again. Restart number 4 on the day. And Blake Gordon once again going to be the class of the field on the restart. Looking further back, Sean Carmody side by side with Cody Smith. Back of the field going to be double file 2, but so far up in front, it's as close as it can get, maybe even a bit closer. How's about we ride on board with Thomas Bressie and his number 24 as the racing gets back into full swing? We'll present to you his in-car camera, courtesy of course of Thomas Bressie himself. Taking a quick look as we load it up on the bottom right of your screen, you're looking at his helmet camera. and it is almost like if you were in real-life cockpit. That's exactly what Bresci is seeing as we speak, and as the caution flag flies, it looks like it's a caution in his rear view mirror. Yellow flag is out yet again, this time going to be involving those in the back. Looks like might have been Don Stevenson. Christopher Matthews fades back further, and so does Travis McQuistion, your Daytona winner, involved in this wreck. Let's take a quick look back once again for your 5th caution and find out just what happened. And taking our instant replay, Daytona winner Travis McQuistion in the middle of the field, battling right behind Thomas Bresci, just gets loose off turn 2, and it's going to take Chris Cabot. Not a major wreck, but still a caution all the same. Multiple drivers involved, and the caution does indeed fly. 43 laps in. Big time hit for Travis. Nobody else getting major damage. Chris Cabot adding to his damage, however, not all too major as well. So as we come down to the line yet again, Blake Gordon going to be leading the way, with Rob Ackley then second, and then Michael Stroll in third. 43 laps in out of 150. Despite all the cautions, we're nearly a third of the way there, and that shows how quick this track is navigated. Only about 1 kilometer in length, or 0.6 of a mile. It's a short track in every definition of the term. And right now, giving us short glimpses of the racing we hope to see. What we've seen so far under green has been great. The question is, can we get much more of it, and can we see a battle for the lead? Ackley and Stroll, the next best things on the track right now, but neither of them are as good as Blake Gordon's has been so far. Their best laps are in the 19.3 second range, which would be the fastest times on the track if it weren't for Blake Gordon and his 19.174. That shows absolutely the difference between Blake Gordon and every other driver on the field. He is at least 1/10 of a second quicker in his fastest lap compared to even the next best driver who's right behind him on the track. So even though it's such a small track and there's not much room to play around with, Blake has found something special, and it's worked out so far. Almost a third of the way through, it's been dominant from that number 13, and he's been on the money. The Target Chevrolet on top so far. And now Boomer Logan going to be going off of pit road. You can see back of the field drivers like Chad Cole in frame for just a moment. Boomer Logan 1 lap down. He is in 32nd, and he gets back on the way as he's 1 lap down with Trevor Trago and Forrest Smith. So 30th on back off of the lead lap, with the final driver on the lead lap being Don Stevenson. Don right now going to put himself in the number 47 cockpit yet again. Went down to pit road briefly, but now is back on the move at 47 laps in. Finds himself 29th on the order, just behind Travis McQuistion and Casey Shue as we get things going yet again. Blake Gordon will take us down the line, and it should be 1 more lap to green here on lap 47. 48, we come back into business. We've not seen a green flag run longer than 5 laps so far tonight, and we still don't know if we can get the momentum to change that. So far, it looks like that's not been the way things have gone. Green flag is due to fly yet again. It's going to be Blake Gordon down low, Rob Ackley up high, and it's worked out for our leader so far, so why not change? Of course, if it's broken, why not change? Right now, you can't fix what isn't broken. Blake Gordon right down low, he'll keep that lead, and for restart number 5 will take us to the green yet again. Green flag's out, led by Blake Gordon. And Blake Gordon able to get that advantage once again. Looking further into the field, you'll see Sean Carmody side by side with Alan Dobbs. Jacob Fife going to be there as well, with Cody Smith right alongside Fife for a brief moment. Cody gets away. Now going to find himself inside the battle for the top 5. Great recovery drive here for Cody after not as expected performance in the twin ring Motegi. Qualified outside the top 25, able to muster up a top 20 finish, but for a driver known for being competitive here in this league, the 2022 overall champion getting back into the swing of things and now puts himself up in front of the field as he chases down a chance at the title once again. Top 5 run would do him wonders in the points, but the caution will fly yet again 50 laps in. Let's take a quick look at what just happened as Christopher Matthews is involved with Andrew Schaub and Don Stevenson. Yellow flag is out yet again. Let's take a quick look once more at the instant replay. Side by side there with Matthews, you can see it was for a brief moment, then Travis McChristian gets away. Matthews is going to work it down to the bottom side yet again. Trevor Trago right behind, and coming out of turn 4, it looks like it's going to be avoided through the final corner. Now let's take a look through 1 and 2. Christopher going to be down on that bottom side, contact with Boomer Logan, and Logan will tag Schaub, and then it's going to be Christopher Matthews then in the grass. So Andrew Schaub involved with Boomer Logan, and that brings out the yellow flag for the 6th time today. Caution's out yet again, brand new driver and the 55 involved in this very first incident. Now let's take a look back at the field, see what's going on. The head of the field has so far not chosen to come in. All the leaders are still out on the track, and for their sake, they hope to keep it that way. It looks like right now, with the way people have been driving, the leaders are not pushing as much as would be expected in a green flag run, meaning resources are being saved. The drivers do not have to worry about burning up their tire, worry about losing their fuel capacity. They might be able to even go all the way things are looking. That might just be the case. 53 laps in out of 150, looking closer and closer to our halfway point in just a few laps time, and now that might become another question in the minds of not only Blake Gordon but all the other leaders just behind him. Do we have to come down to pit road, and if so, when is the right time? Many drivers just came down to pit road, and looks like Chad Mike is not one of them, but Forrest Smith on the way out is indeed one of those taking the risk. A few drivers opt to come in this time by. Every driver 22nd on down has come down to pit road, and it looks like in addition, Anthony Navarro, who is now in the 14th position from 33rd, he went down to pit road. He's now just within the top 15. Timothy Johnston, he has 2. Chad Cole and Chad Mikas both inside the top 20 again. From the back of the field on up, they've gone down to pit road before, so they're now back in the mix. And Blake Gordon, who leads the way, he's not done so, as you see Boomer Logan going in once again. Boomer with big damage now comes back out, and 1 lap down, the number 94 trying to get back with the leaders. He and Forrest Smith stranded 1 lap behind. And as the drivers come back around this time by, looking to be 1 lap to green, a bit of a quicker yellow flag to get things back on the way. It will not be. It's going to be extended yet again. Lap number 57 set to be the time the drivers get back in motion, and we'll be close to lap number 60 by the time we really get back into a rhythm. That's the big thing for these drivers. Can we even see a rhythm in the racing? So far, it's only been short breaks, interrupted again by cautions, and even though the racing has not been long form, some drivers in a rhythm better than others. Notably, the top 5 has been very consistent, so maybe the rest of the field can catch on and we'll see a bit more racing as we get back to the green. This time by 57 laps in out of 150 here in the Throwback 150, and it has been a blast from the past at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. Now let's get back into gear and put it into motion. Green flag for the 6th restart comes here, and now we're back underway here from Wilkes County. and neck down the straight it's going to be. These two are side by side, and if they come down to the start-finish line, it will stay that way. Rob Ackley gets the launch of a lifetime and will be scored as the leader, barely leading the lap, and that's exactly what he needed to do. Made that restart count. Ackley now leads 58 laps in. What a move for the number 22. He hung on the high side and put it all to work when it mattered. Ackley's your new race leader, and the back of the field looks to be back in trouble. Namely, might be Christopher Matthews and Andrew Schaub again, as we'll take an instant replay looking back on our 7th caution of the day. And two rookies here in Andrew Schaub and Christopher Matthews might be caught up in the action. You'll see it's going to be Andrew up high, but no, Brian McFerrin and Gael Brooks are going to be caught up in it. So it looks like it's going to be the veterans now in an incident, both of which can be up at the high side. We'll take a look further back to find out what caused this, as it looks like Brian McFerrin and Gael Brooks both make contact, and now coming to lap number 60, the 7th caution is out. Gael Brooks going to be right up high, and Travis McCuistion going to make some minor contact with McFerrin, and it looks like it's going to be a bit more contact, putting Brian up in the wall. Gael tries to slow down and miss it. Then Andrew Schaub gets up there. Christopher Matthews does too. And just like that, the caution is out yet again for another stack up high. 7th caution in 60 laps, and we are back under yellow yet again. And it looks to be without a doubt we will break the cautions record of this series in this event. Daytona was the most so far this season, then back-to-back races without any cautions, and now things have changed once again. Some drivers might say for their sake it's been for the better to stay up in front without using resources, but for a lot of drivers it has not changed for the better, many with major damage, losing the chance to go out there racing up in front. All 33 drivers are still on the track. Tyler Hensley, 12 laps down, is still there. Boomer Logan, 3 laps down, is too. And it looks like 31 drivers still remain on the lead lap in spite of all the chaos. Rob Ackley, one of which, and he leads the way right now, 61 laps in out of 150 after a fantastic restart off the stripe. And now going to be 1 lap to green. Some drivers choosing high, others right down low. And it looks like for Matthew Thunhorst, the low side will be his side. Matthew going to try to take it down to the bottom, and he looked very good at the twin ring Motegi. Now it looks like momentum back on his side and looking to go for a 2nd consecutive regular season championship. Thunhorst, the multi-time winner last season, now looking to replicate that success and keep it going all the way as he chases his first career championship in the Integrity Racing League. Now down to the bottom side alongside Rob Ackley, 2 former winners looking to get it done this season, and Blake Gordon, who has been dominant so far, getting shuffled back into 3rd. Jacob Fife going to be on the high side, now down to the low, and 64 laps in, that's going to be the restart marker, and it looks like more and more the runs are getting shorter. 64 laps in for your 7th restart of the day. Green flag going to fly, led by Matthew Thunhorst down low, but Rob Ackley, your overall leader, and he'll take us to the stripe yet again. The pace car comes down and in here with Matthew Thunhorst and Rob Ackley, your new front row. Restart number 7 going to be on the move as we get back to green here in North Wilkesboro. And it's now a 3-car battle up at the front of this field. Rob Ackley's got the advantage, but not by all too much. He's got not 1 but 2 drivers right behind, looking to take that top spot right away if there's any mistake. Matthew Thunhorst's going to remain right down low there with Blake Gordon. Now Blake going to go way up high, trying to make something happen and trying to clear Thunhorst before going back for the top spot. Now he looks to be as quick as ever, and Blake is back in 2nd alone. The question is now, what can he do to chase down Rob Ackley and take that spot right away? Looking back on the rear view perspective, you see Gordon trying to use that higher side to his advantage. No positions have been gained by it just yet, but definitely he's looking to set something up for later in this race. Has not made that aggressive move just yet, but as he sees Ackley go right up high, now there's a chance he'll get down to the bottom side and try to lunge it deep. Does he do so? No. How about we take a look at a different perspective here? This is from Blake Gordon's in-car cockpit. Now, let's take a look at what's going on. And you'll see with Blake Gordon's perspective, things are a bit different. He is trying to search for the bottom side to be alone on the low. Rob Ackley leaving him just a bit of room, but just enough to keep that spot for himself. Not enough to make a pass and go right down to the low side, taking anything away. Now Blake goes down to the low yet again, right down to the bottom. Blake Gordon takes it. Rob Ackley still there, and it looks like he gets away that time around. 69 laps in, we have ourselves a nice battle for the lead, and it still is a three-car race with Matthew Thunhorst right behind and Jacob Fife wait in the wings. Now we're getting a rhythm going with all three drivers up in front competing at their fullest extent. Ackley remains in the lead, but now goes way up high, barely clear of Gordon and not clear enough to keep it going. Now it's going to be Rob Ackley heading right up high. Blake Gordon's got the bottom side, and at the line he might be able to steal it. No, but it's still going to be not clear for the number 22. Ackley goes up high to try to keep that momentum off the corner, and it looks like it'll stick, but Gordon's getting faster and faster, using the low side yet again, barely ahead. It's nose to nose at the stripe, and it looks like now Blake Gordon gets that top spot yet again. Back and forth it's been between these two drivers for the past 15 laps, and it's the best lead battle we've seen all night long. Very close to contact. Gordon goes right down low to preserve his lead, and it looks like Rob Ackley going to go a bit higher just to make sure he does not do any door banging. Until now, they banged doors for the first time, and Ackley's going to have to remain up high with Blake Gordon once again going low. How about this racing? They're going all out right now, and it looks like this is only the beginning. Taking a look at Matthew Thunhorst right up high. He'll try to take one from Blake Gordon. They'll be side by side, and just like that, Rob Ackley's got the edge yet again. Rob's going to be thankful to see that side-by-side action right behind him. As they distract one another, it gives him a chance to run away, so to speak, and now he's making big time. 0.3 of a second ahead of both Thunhorst and Blake Gordon, with Jacob Fife also forcing these drivers to push just a bit more. Now Blake in jeopardy of falling out of the podium, with Jacob Fife working down the low side to take that third spot away. And all of a sudden, 75 laps in, we've got Rob Ackley out in front. 22 machine at the top of the board, and he'll take it now to the halfway marker. 75 in, make it 75 laps to go here in North Wilkesboro. The Throwback 150, finally seeing some old school racing back and forth, beating and banging, bumping doors time after time, and Ackley takes the lead from Matthew Thunhorst in second, and Blake Gordon then in third. Gonna be Jacob Fife in fourth, and Alan Dobbs then in fifth, with Michael Stroll in sixth, and for Next Level Racing, Cody Smith in seventh. Once again, Next Level Racing back on board with the Integrity Racing League for the 2023 B season, providing high-quality sim racing performance products for dedicated sim racers who deserve nothing but the best. If you want more information about this product, be sure to go to nextlevelracing.com for more information. We'd love to have you as a Next Level Racing user throughout your sim racing adventures. Once again, check out nextlevelracing.com after tonight's broadcast, and we'll bring you your first promotional message of the day, courtesy of nextlevelracing.com. we returned with 69 laps to go. It's been a nice run for all the leaders, the longest green flag stint we've seen, and Rob Ackley finds himself at the head of the field, putting in a next level drive after our first Next Level Racing promotional break. Now that racing's getting back into full swing, Ackley's getting away, and Matthew Thunhorse now puts himself in a second. Blake Gordon going to be in third, with Jacob Fife then in fourth, and Alan Dobbs now finds himself side by side with Michael Stroll battling for fifth. Now Stroll going to see himself right behind the top five, and he wants to get a piece of the action. Right now, just a few tenths of a second away from locking himself in, but he still has one more driver to get through, and Alan Dobbs, always a challenge to pass. One of those drivers who's absolutely a challenge, no matter if it's for first or if it's for the first driver one lap down. It doesn't matter the circumstance. It seems like Dobbs always has that competitive spirit in him, no matter the context of the situation. Now, Michael Stroll puts himself down to the bottom side. He tries to find a gap. He gets close, but no cigar. Now goes up to the high side, and with 66 laps remaining, he looks for another opportunity, but has not been able to make one stick. Down low, Michael Stroll's close once again, but cannot make it happen. It's been back and forth between these two for several dozen laps now, and it looks like some contact, just barely. Michael Stroll going to be back down to the bottom, and Alan Dobbs keeps himself right there too. And we take a look at our close-up drone cameras. Action is intense. You'll see a lap machine of Andrew Schaub right there with the field, and they're going to get rid of the 55 as soon as they can. Still going to be on the hood right there. Michael Stroll back bumper, nearly contact again and again, and you've got to be very consistent trying to make a pass here, Wilkes County, or it's going to come back to bite you time and time again. Now taking a look at the TV cameras to see how close the battle truly is. It might look farther from this perspective, but it gets very, very close. For the fans in the virtual stands, they're seeing all the action in a different way, and it's absolutely exciting for all of them. Take a look at our fan camera as we try to get one rolling. It looks like for this track, there might not be one. That's one of the better examples, though. When you pan through those angles, turn after turn, you see them come by, and then they're just like that, gone in a flash. It might be a very short circuit, but speeds of over 115 miles an hour are still reached, and that's exactly the benchmark these drivers try to hit time after time. They know exactly how quick they have to be through every turn to hit those marks just right. So it's their job to do that and memorize everything associated with driving here. And now, of course, with 90 laps in the books, you sort of get accustomed to how the track drives. It's almost a given by a point like this, but earlier in the going, when drivers were struggling big time, that was not the case. We're at 7 cautions on the day. It's still under the marker set by Daytona, but it is one of the highest markers we've seen all year long and this season. Of course, similar vein. 60 laps to go, all the same, and Rob Ackley now sees a bit more pressure up in front. Matthew Thunhorse making some time, and now that number 8 finds himself just about a quarter of a second away from the top spot. Top 2 drivers are as close as they can be before it gets side by side and racy, and Matthew Thunhorse is absolutely very, very quick. Up and down throughout the alley. That time by, Matthew was only about 20 thousandths of a second quicker, but not enough to make any significant gains. It's toss and turn between both drivers at the head of the field. And how's about we take a look on board with Rob Ackley for a lap from his rear view perspective. And taking a look from Rob Ackley's rear view deck lid, you can see how much closer the driver of that number 8 is getting. Matthew Thunhorse absolutely flying right now and taking it down the straightaways with that much more power, able to carry it with a bit more confidence through the corners, and those are the keys to success here, especially in the dying laps of a very, very long run. Rob Ackley right now, he knows this. He's going to have to find a way to either pick up the pace or defend that much better. The 22 still leads the way, but Thunhorst putting down much more pressure than before, and it might be enough to unseat this leader and make anew as Matthew Thunhorst, like Rob Ackley, both fight for their first win of the season. 54 laps remaining with Blake Gordon now in third, and it looks like Jacob Fife is right there, side by side. It looks to be not at the moment. Blake Gordon knows that Jacob Fife, if he finds a hole, he'll take him side by side. And so far, while there has been no opportunity given, Fife knows that if he has to do something, he will. Multi-time winner in the Octane Series, still looking for his very first victory in the Ignite Series. While a winner in the Integrity Racing League multiple times over, here on Monday nights, he has not been able to make it happen. There's still a chance, though, with the dying laps in play. And going into third place, there'll be Jacob Fife, indeed taking it side by side, working down low. As both drivers get loose, it looks like Blake Gordon still able to eke out the advantage. And that's the toss and turn racing we expected here at a short track. And right now, these drivers are pushing at their furthest extent. Down to the low side yet again. Jacob Fife is going to take it. Alan Dobbs goes up high. And now multiple grooves of the track are being used efficiently. The high side for Alan Dobbs is now being worked into play. Michael Stroll will take the low as well. And it's going to be side by side. 3 wide for a moment there. Michael Stroll's down low. Alan Dobbs takes it middle, and he'll drive right up top, and it looks like he's going to go into the wall. Blake Gordon collected, and the caution will fly with 50 laps to go. And just like that, Alan Dobbs with some aggression, 3 wide, gonna bring the cautions back to the circuit. And just like that, now down into 11th, Alan Dobbs, Michael Stroll, Blake Gordon, all involved. And just like that, the caution flies again. You'll see Dobbs driving a bit further up the track, and from there he gets loose and overcorrects it, hits Gordon. Gordon makes contact with Alec Daffin, and it's a chain reaction, bringing a big incident into the circuit. Just like that. From a long green flag run to a caution flag, number 8 to be exact. Now we're back under yellow. And now it looks to be the money stop for all these drivers coming into pit road. Let's take a quick look at what's going on. Rob Ackley making it into his stall. And as every driver comes through, it's all about this pit stop. Looks to be a one and done for the entirety of the field. And as they come down this time by, we'll see who's got the stuff. Rob Ackley does. He's out much quicker than the rest of the field with Matthew Thunhorst, Blake Gordon, Jacob Fife, Michael Stroll, Timothy Johnson, Anthony DeBarno, Brian McFerrin, Cody Smith, Chad Mikas, Sean Carmody, Alan Dobbs, Justin Morton, and finally Thomas Bresci making up the top 15. Just like that, it's another big run off pit road for Rob Ackley, and he'll keep that lead. The 22 remains out in front as more drivers come out of pit road. Same leader, a different makeup, all beyond. Blake Gordon with no back bumper. He is still there in the podium despite the damage, and it looks like he's going to try to make this work. Damage does not matter to him. He still has the track position, and there's still a race to complete. 47 laps to go. He's gone this far. No reason to quit. That's exactly the mindset here for Blake Gordon as we line up yet again for your 8th restart of the day. And with the caution back out, it's another chance for drivers like Rob Ackley to take that lead and extend it. It looks like right now, of course, it's been a battle up in front for the 22 and the 13, and more recently for Matthew Thunhorst in that number 8. But this could be an opportunity for another driver to become an even further advanced contender. Jacob Fife, as of recent, has been as quick as Blake Gordon's been, and it looks like with 46 laps to go, getting the chance to bundle up and go for another position. Side by side, he took Blake Gordon before that incident, and it now seems like Jacob Fife and his ability to make those gaps work, the ability to take through those opportunities, he's got a chance to go at it on a much closer scale. The leaders are back bunched up, so maybe it's Fife's time to go for his first career win in the Ignite Series. In addition, Michael Stroll going to be in 5th, Timothy Johnston is in 6th, and Anthony DeBarro back up in front. It looks like it's going to be DeBarro in 7th here, as it's going to be restart number 8, 1 lap from now. Pace car came in, but it looks like the green flag does not fly. How about that? Looks like no restart there. We'll wait for the iRacing official pace car again as the Ford Mustang comes back out on the track. And now we'll be set for a restart, this time by. And a little bit of false hope there, but just like that, the pace car is right back out and we'll be ready to do it all over again. Rob Ackley, Matthew Thunor is going to be 1st and 2nd respectively as the Throwback 150 gets back in a full swing. The green flag will fly for the 8th restart of the day, and Ackley gets a big jump on the pack. And Ackley now going to be single file, able to make that jump work very well. Matthew Thunnels is in 2nd, Blake Gordon's in 3rd, and Jacob Fife now finds himself in 4th. Side by side, multiple rows deep. We did not get a chance to show it in depth before, but now with long green flag runs, Thomas Bressy, who finds himself now sliding, will go almost up into the wall. Will he save it? Yes, he will. Chad Cole's down a pit road, no caution. That could have been major, and it looks like the caution still will come out for Thomas Bressy, and it looks like it's going to be false hope for some drivers there. And now there is a yellow again. Restart number 9 impending as your 9th caution comes back out into play. Thomas Bressy, and it looks like Chad Cole make up the cause for this caution. Let's take a quick look back and see Sean Carmody wiggles high. Chad Cole was sent down into pit road, and it looks like as a result of that contact, the yellow flag going to be brought out once again. So no major contact besides some tapping for Chad Cole and Thomas Bressy. That's still going to cost Chad Cole all his track position, and the caution flag will fly again with 40 laps remaining. And just like that, the yellow is out with Rob Ackley leading and Matthew Thunors there in 2nd. And as soon as we put our attention to Thomas Bressy, he gets involved with an incident. And yet again, it looks to be the number 22 up in front. No changes for the lead, but definitely changes all throughout the pack. Now side by side, the 22 and the 8. But of course, hasn't been like that in the running so far. While Thunors has definitely gotten close for that top spot, has not been able to make the lunge in to take that pass. And maybe now there's a chance to do so, but with track conditions slightly changing, you never know until it's over. 39 laps left. Now it looks to be Rob Ackley, Matthew Thunors, Blake Gordon, Jacob Fife in 4th, Michael Stroll 5th, Anthony DeBarro in 6th, and Timothy Johnston in 7th, with Cody Smith 8th, Chad Mikas 9th, and Alan Dobbs 10th. Now, that's your top 10 with 38 laps remaining. Ackley leads, and the rest of the field still following behind. Only 2 retirees in Chris Cabot and Forrest Smith. Alec Daffin and Tyler Hensley both at least 10 laps down. Shane Ewing now 1 lap down. It is Andrew Schaub 2 laps down. Cal Fularski is 4 down, and so is Boomer Logan. Two laps to green this time around, expecting the shoes rule to become back into play. And with the field being single file so far, the preference of our leader has been the same for the past several restarts. The low line has been king for most drivers, but of course, Blake Gordon took it up high a few times before. Now the low line looks to be back in preference again. What's the choice for Rob Ackley here? It looks like he opts to take it up to the top. Matthew Thunors will go down low. Up to the top side, Blake Gordon will take it, and Jacob Fife opts to go down to the bottom side with Michael Stroll there on the high. Anthony DeMaro is now into 6th, and from dead last in the field, he's another driver making a big recovery as he looks for his 2nd consecutive top 5 this season. Getting that win in the Twin Ring Motegi is a big momentum, and looking to back it up with a hard charge up to the top of the board, Ackley leads the way. And it looks like now the field's back up there with them as they look for the 9th restart next time around. And looking further back, now the final driver on the lead lap is Chad Cole. He is in 25th, right beside Christopher Matthews. Double foul for the both of them, and it looks like they're still in. Despite major damage, some cautions they've both been involved in, and as they come through this time by, it looks to be 34 laps to go for the drivers up in front. Rob Ackley topside, Matthew Vunnels right down low. Well, let's get right back into it here as we get back to the green with now 34 laps remaining in the Throwback 150. Ackley gets another great start in front of Matthew Thunhorst and Blake Gordon. First, second, third, single file. Jacob Fife's got a chance to take it right down low, and that he will. Diving deep, Jacob Fife takes it down to the bottom side, and he'll have Blake Gordon wiggle up top, and they'll be side by side coming through the back straightaway. 3 and 4, you'll see Fife have minor advantage. Blake Gordon goes up top, and it looks like he's going to not give up, but he might have to give in, at least for now. Big slide for Blake Gordon, which might cost him a position or two as he's getting funneled out on the high side. Competition down low is getting more and more intense, namely drivers like Anthony DeMaro, Michael Stroll, and Cody Smith, which are going to cost Blake Gordon more and more time, and with that damage, there's not much more he can do, but hope he can hold on any longer. 31 laps to go this time by. Rob Ackley leads by only 0.2 of a second, and Matthew Thunhorst is hungry. He wants this win as much as anyone else in this field, if not more. And as they come through time after time, you'll see Thunhorst get even closer to the back bumper, now within 1/10 of a second. It'll extend slightly more to become 2 again, but it has been back and forth, up and down between two of the most competitive drivers in this field. They're still leading, and nobody has taken it away from them. Jacob Fife remains in second, now back to third. Matthew Thunhorst, of course, taking that runner-up spot from him, but it looks like it might be Fife trying to claw that second spot right back. Side by side between Michael Stroll and Blake Gordon up ahead, and with 29 laps to go, they're still sorting it out amongst each other, but nothing much has come of it. Blake Gordon going to slot into the inside line again. Now the only battle up in front that's for the side-by-side racing is Chad Mikus. Chad's down low, Alan Dobbs is up high, and they're about dead even because Chad does have some damage, and he'll get sent right down to the bottom. Chad Mikus in trouble, and just like that, no caution waves, but he is now down and out. Chad Mikus loses time, and the caution comes out immediately thereafter. How about that hit for Chad Mikus, as it looks like more chaos ensues right ahead of him. And it begins with Chad Mikus, and it gets more intense from there. Taking a look further back, Travis McQuistion, of course, going to be involved. You saw drivers like Kyle Cooper there with him. Cooper right behind Travis, as a matter of fact. And when the number 25 got involved, Justin Morton goes up high, but that's not going to involve even the number 7. McFerrin getting tagged for McQuistion as Kyle Cooper tags him. It's another big chain reaction, and the number 93 has had much trouble ever since Daytona, and this is another big example. Huge hit for Travis McQuistion, and with 26 laps to go, gets even more damage on what already looks to be a modified number 93 Ford Mustang. And taking a look back live on FTN here, Rob Ackley leads the way. It is still Matthew Thunhorst then in second and Jacob Fife in third. For those of you watching on FTN right now, we have multiple other broadcasts still going at the same time. The Schumacher Racing League live on FTN with the Magic Mile 170. When that race is over, we might be sending you back here. However, that's not necessarily the case. I believe we'll be sending you from this race to the Schumacher Racing League. So stick around. You'll be automatically redirected to the next broadcast, as they are only 71 laps in as we speak. In addition, looking at the 4-wheel truck series, they currently find themselves going through interviews. So eventually they'll be sending you here. Of course, they might not be here yet, but for those tuning in from the 4-wheel truck series, they are expected to join all those watching here in the Integrity Ignite series. So as it stands, it has been 24 laps to go on the board for quite some time now. 127 laps in. Short tracks have been exciting all year long, and once again with the Ignite series, they are not disappointing in the slightest. 23 laps to go next time by, and it looks to be another lap put down when we get back to green. In lieu of a 22 lap to go crank it up, we will do a crank it up as soon as we can, so it might be less than 22 tonight. As you can see, the track cams for Gorman's indicator on your screen. Once again, track cams for Gorman's provide the incredible onboard cameras for tonight's event. For more information, visit trackcams22.com for over 100 car and track combinations. Incredible camera work for each and every one that they do. Care, effort, and quality seen in every single package made by trackcams22.com. If you want to find out more, visit their Facebook page, look up Track Cams for Gormans, or go to trackcams22.com. We'd love to have you using the best camera software on iRacing. And with 2 laps to go until we go back green, it will be about 20 laps to go when we get this show back on the road. This is set to be restart number 10. Unbelievable. Longest amount of cautions, of course, in terms of time and in terms of number. It's been a shaky night here in the Ignite series, coming off of 2 consecutive caution-free races. We're bound to get some chaos sometime in the season. We might be getting it all out here at once. Hopefully that's the case, because we have not seen all too much green flag racing. Maybe now we'll get a bit more. And as they come through at the line yet again, 1 lap to green. The final dash is just ahead of each and every one of these drivers. It is going to be Ackley still up high. Matthew Thunhorst right down low. It's going to be the green flag shown this time by, as we are set to crank it up here on FTM with the best cameras on iRacing. Track cams for 22 to go. It usually is, but here with trackcams22.com, we're going to crank it up with only 20 laps to go. Well, let's get right in with this time by. The pace car's in for restart number 10 as we crank it up here in Wilkes County. And the caution will fly with 18 laps to go. Big wreck with Blake Gordon involved. Many drivers up at the front of the field end up with more damage. Let's take a quick look back and find out how this came to be. Another huge wreck. And we'll take an instant replay to find out just what happened here on FTN. Blake Gordon looked to overcorrect, and that's what began this incident. And you'll see the number 13 machine getting tapped by Alan Dobbs. Goes right up high, gets involved with Cody Smith and DJ Stagner. And just like that, Travis O'Quistion gets right by. Shane Ewing, Brian McFerrin also getting tagged. And just like that, the caution goes once again. Now looking at it, 13 machine of Blake Gordon, who was oh so dominant earlier in the race, finds himself at the back of the field, and Matthew Thunhorst currently leads the way, getting it just barely ahead of Rob Ackley. A fierce battle for lead is back in play, and with 16 laps to go, time is running out to see who will truly come home with the win. 11 cautions tonight, on pace for 15 we were earlier in the day, but we've been able to avoid that pace, now set for only about about 13 the way things are going. Tell you this much though, with 15 laps to go, your second Next Level Racing promotional break going to come under the yellow flag, so you don't miss a beat. Cody Smith still going to be on the way for Next Level Racing, not giving up just yet. And when you're represented by the best sim racing equipment on the market, there's no reason to. NextLevelRacing.com provides high-quality sim racing performance products for dedicated sim racers who deserve nothing but the best. Next Level Racing sponsoring Cody Smith this season, the defending Integrity Racing League champion, as he looks to go back-to-back in 2023. If you want to join the fun at Next Level Racing, visit their website after tonight's broadcast at NextLevelRacing.com. We'd love to have you and also in joining the Integrity Racing League as a member of the Next Level Racing family. We'll be right back after our second promotional message of the day. You won't miss a thing on FTN as we take a brief break, courtesy of our friends at Next Level Racing. And as we return with 13 laps to go, a baker's dozen between the top two drivers, Matthew Thunhorst and Rob Ackley. They've been at their A game so far, both drivers pushing to their fullest extent. But take a look who's right behind them. Defending winner Anthony DeBarro now finds himself in third, looking to go back-to-back. He's put the pieces together, got a victory this season, and now he looks to be red hot, once again chasing down the top spot on the order. DeBarro going to be in third. Matthew Thunhorst going to be there in first, of course, with Rob Ackley still up high. Now could it be more than a two-driver race at the head of the field? We will find out. A lap to go until the racing gets back on the way, looking to be 11 laps to go. If not 10, we'll see whether or not the official pace car is given one more lap on the track. As it has been before, it looks like for this lap it will not be. This is perhaps the final restart of the day. 11th caution, looking for our 11th restart. The iRacing official pace car will come down and in, with Matthew Thunhorst getting a big jump as the green flag flies here in North Wilkesboro. Matthew Thunhorst off to a rocket start, but it's going to be Anthony DeBarro who picks up the pieces and now finds himself there in the second spot. Rob Ackley going to be third with Jacob Fife and Michael Stroll now battling side by side, and right behind you'll see Alan Dobbs and Timothy Johnston. Front of the field gets away as they're going to be three wide right behind, side by side DJ Stagner and Chad Cole. Despite the damage earlier, Chad Cole now within the top 15, and he looks to be just a few moments away from joining the top 10 if he can make any more big moves. Up in front though, Matthew Thunhorst sees DeBarro is quick. That time by about 0.02 of a second quicker, and he will have to wait to find out as Jonathan Gearvon goes around, and the caution flies for the 12th time today. And just like that, so close to getting to the final stretch, the 33 of Jonathan Gearvon gets involved, and taking a look down to the low side for Pepsi and Team EDG. He gets a little loose off the corner, no big deal there, but with Casey Shue right behind, some contact will send him into turns 1 and 2, and he'll spin around with no major contact. However, still some damage, and the yellow flag will fly again with 8 laps remaining. As we send it back to the live feed, Matthew Thunhorst leading with 8 laps remaining. Make it 7. 7 laps to go to make sure we don't miss any more green flag racing. Your final next level promotional break will be here and now. Once again, high quality performance sim racing products for dedicated sim racers who want nothing but the best. Visit nextlevelracing.com for more information as iRacing's leading performance partner they might be in many aspects. Here in the Integrity Racing League, that is for certain. And you don't want to doubt it? Then try it. It's great, affordable, and the best on the market. Next Level Racing, providing high-quality products for any discipline of sim racing, be it iRacing, Assetto Corsa, R-Factor, whatever you choose, it will be compatible and it will make your experience that much better. Be sure to check out Next Level Racing after tonight's broadcast at nextlevelracing.com as we present to you our final promotional break of the day. Now returning with 5 laps to go. We're looking at what should be a 3-lap shootout at the longest. Cautions have given us a chance to reorganize for the final time, and it's going to be a showdown between Thunhorst, DeBarrel, and Rob Ackley. It's going to be nearly a green-white checkered. 5 laps to go, making it 4 this time by. It's set to be 3 laps of action between the top 3 drivers and everyone still right behind. The question is, can this be the final restart? Will we see restart number 13 and head into overtime? 12 so far, it's not out of the question. Now, the drivers just have to make it to the white flag if they want to seal the deal and come home with a solid finish or even a win. Now at the line, it's going to be Anthony DeBarro up high, but Matthew Thunhorst leading them through. It will be a green-white checkered. Naturally, one more added lap of pacing. Admins have decided it will be 2 laps. And with that in mind, if we get a caution before the white flag, the race will extend. If we get to the white flag, the race is official no matter what. This is a green-white checkered, our first attempt of the day, and it's going to come down to the best of the best. Up in front, Thunhorst first, DeBarrel second, Rob Ackley third, and now it's time to see who's got what it takes to seal the deal here in North Wilkesboro. The iRacing official pace car comes down and in. 2 laps to go here in Wilkes County. The green flag flies for our first green-white checkered attempt of the day. And sliding down to the bottom, caution flies already. Jonathan Giervon, and it looks like Andrew Schaub bring out the yellow flag. Let's take a look at what just happened. This is your 13th caution. And just like that, yellow flag will fly. Jonathan Giervon involved yet again. Andrew Schaub, the rookie, first race in his career coming tonight. And it looks like both of which are going to be involved at the tail of the field. Let's take a quick look back and find out just what happened. It looks like McFerrin going to get himself involved first. Andrew Schaub going to spin then, and it looks like unrelated spins for the both of them. Brian McFerrin and Jonathan Giervon going to go into each other and bring out the caution all the same. 13th yellow flag. How about it? Now we're back under pacing, and the leader is still Thunhorst. DeBarrel made a big dive down low. That might have been his best move, and now Matthew knows it. He might have a chance to prepare. Just like that, it's going to come down to an overtime finish, not just a green-white checkered, our second green-white checkered attempt, but an overtime finish. The race has been extended past 150 laps, meaning now that we are into the point of no return. 3 attempts. If we use up 3, the race will end regardless. This is your 13th yellow flag of now a projected 15 if we use every attempt. This is attempt number 1, so if we get to the white flag, the race will be official, checkers or records. If not, we get to extend it all over again up to that 3rd try, giving these drivers a chance to get to the line at the same time maybe it's best to see if we can get to the white flag before we get some incidents. The leaders up in front have given us a great show, despite the fact that we've seen oh so many yellows. It's been clean, close, and always very exciting. Now with those who still remain up in front being the best of the best, it looks like now there's still a chance to go for the checkered flag under green. 3 laps to go here in the Throwback 150 overtime finish at North Wilkesboro, and it's going to come down to an overtime attempt number 1. Second green white checkered, first overtime as we head back to the racing in just a few moments. Matthew Thunderst opting to choose high, putting Anthony DeBarro right down low. Rob Ackley going to go up to the high side with Michael Stroll down to the bottom. Timothy Johnston will be 5th, and it looks like the 82 is now going to be side by side with Jacob Fife. Drivers getting set to go at it this time through for what will be your 13th restart of the event. First overtime finish, and it looks like it's going to come down. 2 drivers up ahead. Can a wild card like Rob Ackley or Michael Stroll spoil the race, or will the 2 juggernauts up ahead come through for the win? Next time by, we will find out. Race finish going to be effectively at lap 157. According to timing and scoring, that is the projected finish time and lap, of course, just few moments away from the finish here in the Ignite Series. After this broadcast, we'll automatically redirect you to the Schumacher Racing League, so you're still on FTN all night long. Stick around. We'd love to have you watch both broadcasts and automatically join there. But now the focus is on these 2, DeBarro, Thunderst. Both competitive last season. Thunderst still needs a first win now. DeBarro's looking to go back-to-back. The pace car goes down and in for our first overtime attempt, and Matthew Thunderst gets a blinding start ahead of the field. And just like that, Matthew Thunderst finds himself up in front with the lead. Thunderst has the edge. Anthony DeBarro still down low, looking to get right back. White flag is out. This race will be official. And now it's going to come down to the top 2 drivers with a bumper being put at the number 8. Thunderst has been looking for this win for several months now. Has not gotten it done this season, but DeBarro's looking for it as well. He'll send Matthew Thunderst right up high, and he'll take another victory. Anthony DeBarro stays hot and goes for his 2nd win on the tour, winning the Throwback 150 with a bump and run at the line. Anthony DeBarro, back-to-back wins in back-to-back races, and Thunderst is not happy. And what a move that was for DeBarro to make it in at the last moment. Thunderst oh so close to making it happen there as contact at the end of the race. Dobbs and Blake Gordon going at it. Short track tempers, and Dobbs is up and over. But now Anthony DeBarro comes to the line and looking to burn it down already. He will not spare a second as the celebration already begins. And DeBarro comes in a pit road this time through after celebration. Some contact still going on between multiple other drivers, but it looks like for DeBarro, he will take himself off the track and getting it done in his 2nd race in succession. Anthony DeBarro stays hot and gets it done here from North Wilkesboro. We saw many more cautions than last week, but we still see the same winner with Anthony DeBarro getting it done by a 1/4 of a second ahead of Michael Stroll and Rob Ackley, who make up the podium for domination intimidation racing. Gonna be Rob Ackley then in 3rd with Timothy Johnston 4th, and Jacob Fife 5th with Alan Dobbs then 6th. Matthew Thunders fades back into 7th after the bump and run, and Sean Carmody with his best run this season, making it an 8th place for the rookie in the number 40. Then from there, Don Stevenson holds his own for a top 10 in 9th, and Kyle Cooper finds himself in 10th. Then from there, it's going to be Chad Cole 11th, Trevor Drago 12th, Brandon Bernhardt in position number 13, and Thomas Bresci in 14th. Gael Brooks comes home for the 15th place, and Chad Mikus is in 16th, with DJ Stagner 17th, Cody Smith 18th, Justin Morton 19th, and Travis McQuistion 2.8 seconds down in 20th. Then from there, Christopher Matthews comes home 21st, with Casey Shue 22nd, Brian McFerrin is 23rd, and Shane Ewing is 24th. Pole sitter Blake Gordon comes home in 25th, with Jonathan Gearvon 26th, Andrew Schaum 27th, and Boomer Logan then 3 laps down in 28th. Cal Filarski is 29th, with Alec Daffin then in 30th, and to round out the field, Tyler Hensley comes home 31st, Chris Goubeau 32nd, and Forrest Smith then in 33rd. And with that in mind, 33 drivers took to the field, but the man who went to victory lane just a week ago once again comes home on top. We'll be right back after a brief message from iRacing Motorsport Simulations, and we'll return with your top 3 interviews and our next race on FTN, the Schumacher Racing League Magic Mile 150. Thank you all for your support so far. Stick around, because we're not done yet on FTN.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And after an action-packed race at the North Wilkesboro Speedway, the same winner as the week before comes through in much different circumstances. Anthony DeBarro wins his 2nd straight week here in the Ignite Series, and with North Wilkesboro, definitely took it a different way. Back in victory lane yet again with some short tracks showing. How about this race here in the Throwback 150?
First off, I want to say apologies to that first caution. Whoever's I took out there, and I feel really bad just being a little impatient early there, and I just made a mistake and got loose off 2 and caused that melee. I kind of feel like I set the precedent for the caution after caution, so that's kind of, we could have got a green run to start there and not had that problem. So like I said, I apologize to everyone out there. I mean, it's great to get the win. Just had some good racing there at the end, and I feel good about 2 wins in a row. We got the momentum. We'll keep it rolling.
And momentum has been evident, but tonight was definitely much different. No cautions, 2 weeks coming into this one, but then we see 13 tonight. Of course, even ending with an overtime finish and 2 consecutive green-white checkers. So how was it with a much different pace of the race in play?
Just lane choice and being aggressive. That's just, you got to be aggressive on the restarts, outbreak people, and just you got to take it when we're getting that cautious that quick. You got to move up one row at a time. I mean, I was just fortunate I do not know how I got through that whole entire field after having damage and getting tires, and then I worked my way back up, and then we just got lucky on those restarts, and we were able to bring it home there. So I just that was. I didn't feel like I was the best car, and obviously I didn't really race my way. I kind of just took that one, but we ended up in victory lane. So,
and most certainly still there in victory lane. Now, of course, we saw some close racing between you and the leaders very late in going. How was it slicing through the field to get back in front for a chance to come home on top?
Oh, it was fun with everyone, and that whole deal there going into 3, that with Matthew, that stems from Chicago last year, and he took me out on lap 1, and a simple apology goes a long way, and you get raced a lot differently. So hopefully he takes it as a lesson, and he kind of learned the hard way there that I'm going to race people how they race me, and I took the win. Normally I wouldn't do that. Jack have someone's rear wheels off the ground going into turn 3, but I felt like it was the time to I took a win away from him. So.
And wearing his emotions on his sleeve, Anthony DeBarro once again back in victory lane. Now, so far this season, we've seen a big variety of track choices. Of course, Daytona, we kicked it off with, then the road course at Watkins Glen, and going from the Twin Ring Motegi to North Wilkesboro, it's been up and down throughout all different types of racetracks. Now, next week, which is of course next Monday night, we don't have a race, but Darlington will return to. It's going to be the track too tough to tame up next. Can you tame it and go for 3 in a row?
Well, I think to start the year here, I think we're just establishing ourselves as one of the top cars, and I don't think I finished out of the top 5 to start the season, which is incredible. I mean, I made it through Daytona, which is I always end up wrecked there. So just a really fortunate start to the season. We're going to remain humble and just keep racking the points up, and we'll see where we end up. Go playoff time. Just focus on getting as many bonus points as we can.
And keeping the momentum as good as ever, Anthony DeBarro comes home with a second win in a row before our Labor Day vacation. Any more thoughts you'd like to add before we wrap this interview up?
Yeah, I want to thank you guys up in the booth and all the admins. All the shit they had to put up with tonight. It's kind of a little frustrating, with all the cautions and especially the show we put on for you guys. I feel like we could have been a lot better, but hopefully it was a good ending and you guys got some excitement out of it and you enjoyed what you saw.
And making it an exciting finish, it's Anthony DeBarro once again on top to you with a second consecutive victory in the Throwback 150. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And DeBarro on the way is the man who gets it done in first, but it's Michael Stroll and his teammate Rob Ackley who finish up the podium. Now Michael Stroll, the man who comes home on top of the 2, and the podium, it's going to be Michael Stroll yet again, but this time in second place here from Wilkes County. How do you feel after tonight's race?
Survived. That's one word I can use. Not real happy with all the yellows. Got a nice green run in the middle there, but I just tried to keep it clean, race with respect, and somehow came out with a second place finish. So, real proud of the guys. Real proud of the. We got 2 cars in the top 5, and we'll move on to Darlington in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks' time, of course, we go back racing. But as of recent, this number 38 AC Delco Chevrolet has been fast. Back-to-back podiums, slowly rising through the podium, as a matter of fact. And right now, putting herself in the runner-up spot in a very chaotic race. Short track action, many cautions, an overtime finish. What was it like negotiating with the field here as opposed to the most recent races where it's been a bit cleaner?
It's part of the course with the group that we have. I trust a lot of these guys to run door to door. I was running door to door with Jacob, and when we had those rash cautions, trying to play games with the choose cone, which was better the top and the bottom. I preferred the top, but I always try to get behind the control car. So I just got a little bit behind on that midway through the race and finished 6th at the halfway mark. But just tried to stay out of trouble, which is what I always do. And because I got to dig myself out of this hole that I put myself into from the first 2 races, and just gonna click them off one at a time. Go to one of my favorite racetracks in 2 weeks, Darlington. That's one of our longer races, and just try to set myself up and get the top 16 because I feel like my best tracks are in the Clash.
And once again, putting down a great points night for the number 38 campaign. Now, Darlington is up next. The track too tough to tame, and it is going to be, of course, up next on the schedule in 2 weeks' time. There's a bit more time to prepare compared to most races on the schedule, so what's it going to be like for you to sort of go into that race maybe with a bit more preparation?
Darlington, just be careful with the tires, racetrack, and once again, just try to stay out of trouble. Turn 2 is the trouble spot. So we'll bring our best piece, work as a team for the next 2 weeks, try to get everyone up the pace, and hopefully you guys on FTN will be entertained with what we got to bring.
And looking for another entertaining race, Michael Stroll brings it back home on the podium, second place tonight in the Throwback 150. Anything more you'd like to add? Anyone else you'd like to thank?
Nope. Just everyone have a good holiday next Monday, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
And in 2 weeks' time, Michael Stroll looking to go back on the podium, a second place finish here in North Wilkesboro. Thank you for your time.
Good night.
And Michael Stroll going to be back on the way. His teammate Rob Ackley finishes off the podium, and once again the 22 in third place. And after a run at Watkins Glen here on the podium, you're back again in the third spot. Another solid performance for the number 22. How do you feel after tonight's showdown here in North Wilkesboro?
Oh, I can't complain about a podium finish. It stings a little bit being out front for so long, leading so many laps, but you just never know those restarts if you're choosing the right line or somebody's going to figure something out to get by you on the bottom, which eventually Thunder Horse did, and just couldn't get back up there from there.
And it looks like, of course, the restarts, playing games with the strategy, that was the most important thing. And up and down, using the choose rule, that was definitely a big impacting force on the way you ran this race. So how was it playing with that as the leader for much of the time tonight?
Well, I never figured out the bottom like some of those other guys did, so I think I pretty much took the top all but maybe one or two times. I just never got comfortable on the bottom, and a couple of those other guys started to figure it out, and it kind of bit me in the end.
And it looks like with so many restarts, still able to maintain that track position, even though some others working on that bottom side. You think that eventually helped you later in the race?
Oh, I don't really know. You were just trying to keep track position the best you could. There was so many yellows, and you didn't want to pit and get buried in the field, so hanging out in the top 3 or 4 all night long, I really don't have anything to complain about.
And able to come home with a clean race car as well. It looks like on our end, one of the only drivers with no incidents on the day. So coming home with a clean car in the podium, a great place to be. 2 weeks time to Darlington, we go racing again. You and your teammate Michael Stroll come through on the podium. Do you think you both can do it once more at the track too tough to tame?
Yeah, I don't see why not. And I think lots of times we seem to get long runs at Darlington for one reason or another. So I think that plays into my hand a little bit. I'm usually better on long runs than short runs anyway, so we'll see. It'd be nice to get a repeat or even get a couple spots better.
And looking for victory yet again, a consistent podium run for Rob Ackley coming through in the third position in the Throwback 150. Anything more you'd like to add?
Oh, just give a shout out to all the guys at Domination Intimidation Racing.
And there we have it. Rob Ackley comes home yet again on the podium here in the Throwback 150, finishing third in tonight's action. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Rob Ackley on the move, the number 22, finishes in the third position with Michael Stroll in second, and eventual race winner Anthony DeBarro getting it done here from North Wilkesboro. If you're still on the broadcast now, stick around because we'll send you automatically to the Schumacher Racing League as they are still racing live on FTN as well. Another exciting race as we replay the finish on the top side of your screen. It looks like Matthew Thunders being sent up there, and certainly another storyline to follow with DeBarro, a back-to-back winner. We'll be back in 2 Mondays' time, and it's going to be, of course, for Darlington, another race exciting as ever at the Lady in Black. We'd love to have you there for another broadcast on FTN, but we're going to close out tonight and send you to the Schumacher Racing League. As always, I've been your host for tonight's broadcast, David Kreutz. I hope you enjoyed tonight's presentation of the Integrity Ignite Series in their 4th race of the 2023 B season. From our studios to your homes, we hope you enjoyed tonight's presentation of the Integrity Racing League, and we hope to have you as a viewer once again whenever we're live again on FTN. We thank you all and hope you have a great night as we send you to the sights and sounds of the Schumacher Racing League and the Magic Mile 170. If you're watching along live, stay on the page. You'll be sent there in just a few moments. Thank you all, and we hope you have a great night.